Maya's hands were shaking as she stared at the phone. The FBI agent across the table leaned forward. "Miss Torres, do you understand what you're holding? This isn't just evidence. This is $10 million walking away." She thought about Lily, about the cardboard in their shoes, about the man who'd offered her everything to stay silent. Then she thought about the woman who'd died, keeping this secret for 15 years. "I understand," Maya whispered. "But some things are worth more than money." What she found in that dumpster would either save her family or destroy them both. The rain came down like needles. Maya Torres knelt in the mud behind Repair Tech, her grocery store uniform plastered to her skin, hands deep in the dumpster. 11 o'clock on a Tuesday night, 3 days until rent was due. $340 short. Her fingers closed around something sharp. She didn't pull back, couldn't afford to. Blood mixed with rainwater as she pushed past broken glass and circuit boards, searching for anything worth selling. Old phones, copper wire, anything the pawn shop might take for $20. 40 if she was lucky. That's when she found it. An iPhone, first generation, by the look of it. Scratched aluminum back, cracked screen, but intact. She wiped rain from her face with the back of her wrist and examined it under the flickering streetlight. Maybe $30. Maybe enough for groceries until Friday. This morning felt like a lifetime ago. Lily at the kitchen table, holding up her sneaker, the sole flapping open like a mouth. "Mom, can I get new shoes? Mine have holes." Maya had smiled. "Soon, baby." Her own shoes had cardboard inserts. Lily didn't need to know that. She pocketed the phone and stood, knees aching. Her Honda sat under the broken streetlight, rust spreading across the hood like a disease. Then she heard the engine. A black SUV rolled into the lot, headlights cutting through the rain. Maya's pulse quickened. The passenger door opened. A man stepped out. Expensive suit, designer shoes getting ruined in the puddles. "Excuse me, miss." His voice was smooth, practiced. "I saw you find something. I'd like to make you an offer." Every instinct Maya had screamed danger. She clutched her bag tighter, the phone suddenly heavy in her pocket. "That phone you just found." He pulled out his wallet. "I'll give you $500 cash, right now, no questions." Maya's heart hammered. $500 would solve everything. Rent, shoes, the grinding noise in her car. But his eyes were wrong, too intense, too desperate. "I need to think about it," she said, backing toward her Honda. $1,000. He stepped forward. "Final offer. Tonight only." Maya's hands shook as she unlocked her car. The engine turned over on the third try. She pulled away fast, tires spinning in the wet gravel. In her rearview mirror, the man stood in the rain, phone to his ear. The iPhone in her pocket felt like it was burning. Why would anyone pay $1,000 for a broken phone she'd pulled from the trash? Maya didn't sleep that night. She sat at their kitchen table, the iPhone in front of her, like a question she couldn't answer. The apartment was silent, except for the drip from the bathroom faucet she couldn't afford to fix. Through the thin wall, she could hear Mrs. Rodriguez's TV, some late-night talk show in Spanish. Her hands throbbed where the glass had cut them. She'd wrapped them in paper towels, couldn't waste Band-Aids. The phone wouldn't turn on, dead battery probably. She'd found a charging cable in the junk drawer, the one that still fit those old connectors, but nothing happened when she plugged it in. Maya Torres, 34 years old, grocery store cashier by day, office cleaning at night, single mother to a 9-year-old girl who deserved so much more than this. 3 years since Daniel died on that construction site. 3 years of rebuilding from nothing. The settlement money had vanished into medical bills before he'd even passed. She'd been left with $8,000 in debt and a toddler who asked where Daddy went. She'd clawed her way back. 2 jobs, careful budgeting, saying no to everything that wasn't absolutely necessary. They'd made it work. Barely. Maya picked up the phone again, turned it over in her bandaged hands. It was heavier than she expected, solid. The back had scratches, but the Apple logo was still visible. First-generation iPhone. She'd researched them once, years ago, when she was looking for things to flip online. Worth maybe $50 to $200, depending on condition. So, why had that man offered $1,000? She thought about his eyes, the desperation there, the way he'd stepped into the rain without hesitation, ruining shoes that probably cost more than her rent. "Mom?" Maya turned. Lily stood in the doorway, clutching her stuffed rabbit, the one Daniel had won at a carnival 6 months before he died. "What are you doing up, baby?" "You're not in bed." Lily padded across the linoleum in bare feet. "Are you okay?" Maya forced a smile. "Just thinking. Come here." Lily climbed into her lap, all elbows and knees and warmth. She smelled like the cheap shampoo Maya bought in bulk from the dollar store. "Your hands are hurt." "Just a scratch. I'm fine." Lily touched the phone on the table. "What's that?" "Something I found. Might be able to sell it. Get you those new shoes." "I don't need new shoes." Lily's voice was small. "We can put cardboard in them like yours." Maya's heart cracked. Her daughter was 9 years old. She shouldn't know about cardboard inserts. "You're getting new shoes," Maya said firmly. "Real ones." She looked at the phone again. $50 at the pawn shop, maybe. Or $1,000 from a stranger who set off every alarm bell she had. Or maybe, just maybe, something else entirely. In the morning, she'd take it somewhere legitimate, get it appraised properly, figure out what she actually had. Because Maya Torres didn't take shortcuts, and she didn't make deals in dark parking lots with desperate men in expensive suits. Daniel had taught her that. "Stay honest, Maya," he'd said in the hospital, his hand weak in hers. "That's all we have that matters." She'd kept that promise for 3 years. She wasn't about to break it now. Morning came too early. Maya's alarm went off at 5:30. She silenced it before it could wake Lily, then dragged herself off the couch, where she'd finally fallen asleep around 3. Her hands still hurt. She unwrapped the paper towels, examined the cuts. Not deep enough to need stitches, but they'd sting all day at the register. The apartment was cold. The landlord kept promising to fix the heating. That was 3 months ago. Maya made coffee with yesterday's grounds, added extra water to stretch them. While it brewed, she checked their account balance on her phone. $218. Rent was $700. Due Friday. She'd been short before. Mrs. Chen downstairs had loaned her money once. Maya had paid her back within 2 weeks, even though it meant skipping meals. The iPhone sat on the counter where she'd left it. In the morning light, it looked even more worn. The aluminum back was scratched to hell. The screen had a crack running corner to corner. But something about it felt different. Maya picked it up again, felt that unusual weight. Most old phones felt cheap, hollow. This one had substance. She made Lily breakfast. Generic cereal, the last of the milk. Her daughter ate slowly, carefully, making it last. Another thing 9-year-olds shouldn't have to do. "Mom, your hands." "They're okay, baby, just clumsy." Lily studied her with those dark eyes that saw too much. Daniel's eyes. "You were in the dumpster again." It wasn't a question. Maya didn't lie to her daughter. Couldn't. "Yeah." "Did you find anything good?" Maya glanced at the phone. "Maybe. I'm going to find out today." After dropping Lily at school, Maya drove to the grocery store for her shift. The Honda's grinding noise was getting worse. She added it to the mental list of problems she couldn't afford to fix. Her manager, Tom, was waiting by the time clock. Mid-50s, perpetually exhausted, divorced twice. "Torres, your hands." "I'm fine to work." "That's not what I asked." "They're bandaged. I can still scan." He sighed. "You're one of my best cashiers. Don't make me worry about you." "You don't have to worry about me." "Yeah, well, I do, anyway." He handed her a small first aid kit. At least use real bandages. Oh, the morning shift crawled. Every beep of the scanner felt like it took a year. Maya's mind kept drifting to the phone, to the stranger in the parking lot, to the rent due in 3 days. During her break, she Googled vintage iPhone appraisal near me. Tech Legacy came up first, a shop downtown specializing in vintage electronics. The reviews were good, fair prices, honest assessment. Owner really knows his stuff. Maya called. A man answered on the third ring, voice rough with age. Tech Legacy. Hi, I have an old iPhone I'd like appraised. First generation, I think. Sure, bring it by any time. I'm here until 6. What's the fee for an appraisal? Pause. No fee. I like looking at old tech. If you want to sell, we negotiate. If not, no harm done. That decided it. After her shift, Maya picked up Lily from after-school care and drove downtown. Tech Legacy occupied a narrow storefront between a pawn shop and a closed laundromat. The window displayed vintage computers, old game consoles, phones from the early 2000s. Inside smelled like coffee and solder. Shelves lined every wall, crammed with electronics in various states of repair. Behind the counter sat a man in his 60s, Asian, wire-rimmed glasses, wearing a t-shirt that said, "I void warranties." He looked up when the door chimed. "Help you?" "I called earlier, about the iPhone." Right. He stood, gestured them to the counter. "I'm Marcus Chen. Let's see what you've got." Maya pulled out the phone. Marcus took it carefully, his expression neutral. He turned it over, examining the back. Then his hands started shaking. "Where did you get this?" The question was sharp, urgent. Maya's instinct flared. "I found it, legally, in a dumpster." "Which dumpster?" "Behind Repair Tech on 5th Street, 2 nights ago." "Why?" Marcus set the phone down like it might explode. He pulled out a magnifying glass, studied the serial number on the back. His face went pale. "Ma'am." He looked at her directly. "I need you to understand something. This isn't just any iPhone." Lily tugged Maya's sleeve. "Mom, what's wrong?" "Nothing, baby. It's okay." But it wasn't okay. Marcus was pulling out reference books, checking numbers, his hands still trembling. The serial number. It matches Apple's records of pre-release units. Prototype phones they gave to select people for testing before the 2007 launch. Maya's mouth went dry. "What does that mean?" "It means this phone was never supposed to leave Apple. Only about 50 or 60 of these exist in the world. Most were destroyed or locked in archives." He looked at her again, his eyes serious. "Mom, if this is authentic, if it still contains original, unreleased software or development data, collectors would pay millions for it." The word hung in the air like smoke. Millions. Maya sat down hard on a stool by the counter. Lily pressed against her side. "That's not possible," Maya said. "It was in a dumpster. Someone threw it away. Or someone hid it and forgot about it. Or someone died and their family didn't know what they had." Marcus was still examining the phone, his professional demeanor returning. "I can't authenticate this alone. We need specialists. But if I'm right." He trailed off, looked at her with something like pity. "Ma'am, you're going to have problems. The moment this goes public, you'll have collectors, corporations, people claiming ownership. This isn't just valuable. It's historically significant." Maya thought about the man in the parking lot, his desperate eyes, his $1,000 offer. He'd known. Somehow, he'd known what this phone was worth. "Can you power it on?" she asked. "Not without the right equipment. The battery's dead, probably degraded completely. We'd need to bypass it, power the device directly. That requires specialized tools." "Do you have them?" "No, but I know people who do." Marcus pulled out his phone. "Give me a day to make some calls. In the meantime, don't tell anyone about this. Don't post about it online. Don't take it to other shops. Why not? Because there are people who'd steal this from you without blinking, and some who'd do worse than steal. Maya felt cold. She thought about their apartment, the broken lock on the door she couldn't afford to replace. I can keep it here if you want, Marcus offered. I've got a safe, better security than most banks. Every instinct told Maya not to let the phone out of her sight. But she looked at Lily, thought about someone breaking into their apartment while they slept. No, I'll keep it, but I need to know you're serious, that this isn't some scam. Marcus wrote down a number on the back of his business card. That's my personal cell. Call me anytime, day or night. I'm not trying to scam you, miss. Torres. Maya Torres. Miss Torres, I've been in this business 40 years. I've seen rare things. But this? 1B. He gestured at the phone. This could change your life. The question is whether you're ready for that kind of change. They left as the sun was setting. Maya drove home carefully, checking her rearview mirror every few seconds. The phone sat in her purse like a live grenade. That night, after Lily was asleep, Maya Googled iPhone prototype and Apple pre-release. The articles that came up talked about phones selling for hundreds of thousands at auction. One prototype iPod had gone for almost $1 million, but those were working devices with verified provenance. Maya had a broken phone from a dumpster and a stranger willing to pay $1,000 for it. She opened her banking app again. $218, 3 days until rent. Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. The text message was short. I know you still have the phone. $50,000 cash, tomorrow. Final offer. Maya's blood turned to ice. She checked the door locks, wedged a chair under the handle like she'd seen in movies. Then she texted Marcus Chen. Someone's threatening me. What do I do? His response came in seconds. Don't engage. Don't respond. I'm calling some people. You're going to need help. Maya sat on her couch in the dark, listening to every sound in the building, the phone clutched in her bandaged hands. She'd wanted to sell it for $20, get Lily new shoes, maybe buy groceries without counting every penny. Now, she was sitting on something worth millions. And someone out there knew it. Marcus called at 7 the next morning. I've got people coming in at 2 this afternoon. Can you make it? Maya was already awake, hadn't really slept. Every creak in the building had her sitting up, checking the locks. What people? David Reeves, he's a tech authenticator, works for major auction houses. And Dr. Elena Vasquez, she worked on the original iPhone project at Apple. Maya's stomach flipped. They're coming here? To your shop? No, private lab across town, more secure. These folks don't work cheap, but I explained your situation. They're doing this as a favor to me. I can't afford. No charge. They want to see it. A genuine prototype? That's history. Maya looked at Lily, still asleep on the bed they shared now. She'd moved her daughter into the living room last night, closer to the exits. Okay, 2 o'clock. Maya, Marcus's voice dropped. Bring someone with you. Don't come alone. She thought about her options. Her co-workers wouldn't understand. Mrs. Chen from downstairs was 83. Her ex-sister-in-law had stopped returning calls years ago. I don't really have anyone. Silence on the line. Then, I'll pick you up. Noon. We'll get lunch first. Make sure you're comfortable with everything before the meeting. Something in her chest loosened. Thank you. Don't thank me yet. This gets complicated from here. Maya called in sick to work. Tom didn't sound surprised. You need a few days. Take them. You've got sick time saved. She didn't, but she wasn't going to argue. The morning dragged. Maya made breakfast, helped Lily with her homework, tried to act normal, but her eyes kept drifting to her purse, where the phone sat wrapped in a dish towel. At 10, another text came. Different number. Miss Torres, we need to talk about the item you recovered. Please call me David Chen, Apex Recovery Services. She showed it to Marcus when he arrived. His face darkened. Apex Recovery, corporate investigation firm. They find valuable property for clients, sometimes legally. And sometimes? Sometimes not. Don't respond. Don't engage. They left Lily with Mrs. Chen, who asked no questions, just gave Maya a knowing look and pressed $20 into her hand. For the girl. She needs shoes. Maya's eyes burned. I'll pay you back. Hush. You always do. The lab was in an industrial area, unmarked building with security cameras. Marcus had to buzz them in. Inside looked more like a museum than a workplace, climate-controlled, everything white and clean. David Reeves was waiting. 40-something, expensive suit, the kind of careful grooming that spoke of serious money. But his handshake was firm, genuine. Miss Torres, Marcus has told me about your situation. Which situation? The valuable phone or the people threatening me? A smile flickered across his face. Both, and they're probably related. Dr. Elena Vasquez arrived minutes later. She had white hair pulled back in a bun, kind eyes, moved with the precision of someone who'd spent decades working with delicate technology. Marcus. She embraced him. You said this was important. See for yourself. Maya unwrapped the phone, set it on the examination table. Dr. Vasquez approached slowly, put on magnifying glasses. She picked up the phone, turned it over, and gasped softly. Oh my God. You recognize it? David asked. The serial number, the manufacturing marks. Her hands were shaking. I know this phone. I know this specific unit. Maya's pulse quickened. How is that possible? Dr. Vasquez looked up, her eyes bright. Because I worked on the original iPhone project. I was part of the team. And this phone. She traced the edge with one finger. This was Jonathan Ives' personal test unit. The room went silent. Apple's chief designer, David whispered. His test unit would have everything, Doctor. Vasquez continued. Unreleased designs, development notes, rejected features, things that never made it to production. She looked at Maya. Do you understand what this means? That it's valuable. It's valuable. That it's priceless. This is a piece of design history. Museums would fight over this. Collectors would pay. She trailed off, calculating. $8 to $10 million. Possibly more. Maya sat down hard in a chair. 8 to 10 million. She thought about her $218 bank balance, about cardboard in shoes, about reusing coffee grounds. Can you power it on? Her voice came out hoarse. We can try, but we need to be careful. If we damage the internal memory, we destroy the value. They worked for over an hour, setting up a specialized power supply. David photographed everything, documenting the process. Dr. Vasquez worked with surgical precision, opening the phone's casing. The battery's completely degraded. We'll bypass it, power the device directly from the bench supply. Maya watched, hardly breathing. Inside the phone, the components were pristine. But there was something else, handwritten notes on the internal casing in permanent marker. Dr. Vasquez leaned in close. Property of JM, do not distribute. JM, David said. Jonathan Ive. No, Dr. Vasquez frowned. Ive's initials are JIJM, would be. Her face changed. James Milford. He was VP of Product Planning. Left Apple suddenly in 2008. Something cold settled in Maya's stomach. Why did he leave? Officially. Personal reasons. Unofficially. Dr. Vasquez glanced at David. There were rumors, securities violations. Nothing was ever proven. David was already on his laptop, typing rapidly. James Milford, venture capitalist, worth approximately $300 million. He looked up. And on the board of Apex Recovery Services. The pieces clicked into place. He's the one threatening me. Maya said quietly. Not directly, but yes, he's almost certainly behind it. David's expression was grim. If this was his phone, and there's something on it he doesn't want found. Dr. Vasquez connected the power supply. The phone's screen flickered. The Apple logo appeared, but different, a development version, with debug information scrolling across the screen. Then, it booted into an interface Maya had never seen. No apps, no home screen, just folders with technical names. Camera test, UI concepts, unreleased apps. And one more, personal. Dr. Vasquez's finger hovered over it. We shouldn't open these files without proper forensic equipment. If there's sensitive data, we could corrupt it. But she clicked on personal anyway. Thumbnails appeared, photos, dozens of them. Most were of prototypes, design sketches, internal memos. But one caught Maya's attention. A woman, early 30s, dark hair, holding an iPhone and smiling at the camera. The photo was dated 2007. Something about her face was familiar, but Maya couldn't place it. Who is that? She asked. Dr. Vasquez zoomed in on the photo's metadata. The file name is Patricia, Org 7. David was typing again. Patricia Milford, James Milford's wife. They divorced in 2009. Ex-wife, then, Marcus said. No. David's voice was strange. She died in 2023. Patricia Brennan, she took back her maiden name after the divorce. Maya's blood ran cold. Brennan. The repair tech owner said the phone came from an estate sale. A woman named Patricia Brennan. The room went very quiet. So, the phone belonged to Milford, Marcus said slowly. He gave it to his wife. They divorced. She kept it. She died. Her family didn't know what it was. They threw it out. And now Milford wants it back, David finished, desperately. Dr. Vasquez was scrolling through more files. There's something else here. Encrypted data, not part of the original iOS build. She opened a folder labeled Insurance. Inside were files. Investment, records. XLSX, trading, data, PDF, evidence, doc. Evidence, doc. Someone used this phone to hide information, Dr. Vasquez whispered. David's face had gone pale. Insider trading. That's why he left Apple. He was using product launch information to make illegal stock trades. And his wife found out, Maya said, the pieces falling into place. She took the phone as evidence, kept it as insurance in case he came after her. But she never turned him in, Marcus added, just held onto it, for 15 years. Dr. Vasquez closed the files carefully. We need to stop. This isn't just about authentication anymore. This is evidence of a crime. Maya's phone buzzed. Another text, another number. Miss Torres, this is your final warning. Return the property or face legal consequences. We know where you work. We know where you live. We know where your daughter goes to school. Her hands went numb. They'd threatened Lily. David saw her face. What is it? She showed him the message. His expression hardened. That's a direct threat. We need to involve law enforcement. If I go to the police, what happens to the phone? Maya's voice shook. Do I lose it? Does it become evidence? Probably, but you'll be safe. Your daughter will be safe. Maya looked at the phone on the table. $8 to $10 million. Lily's entire future. College, a real home, security they'd never known. Or safety right now. Daniel's voice echoed in her head. Stay honest, Maya. That's all we have. But what good was honesty if Lily wasn't safe? There's another option, Doctor, Vasquez said quietly. We contact Apple directly, tell them what we found. They have resources, security, legal teams. They can protect you while we sort this out. David nodded. And if there's evidence of insider trading involving their executives, they'll want to control the narrative. They won't let anything happen to you. Unless they just take the phone and shut me out, Maya said. That's a risk, David admitted. But it's better than facing apex recovery alone. Maya picked up the phone, felt its weight in her hands. This piece of glass and metal that was worth millions, that men would threaten children to possess. Make the call, she said. Contact Apple, but I want it in writing. The phone is mine. I found it legally. Whatever they do with the evidence, I keep ownership. I can make that happen, David said. As he dialed, Marcus moved closer to Maya. You're doing the right thing. Am I? I could take Milford's offer. $50,000, walk away. You could, but then you'd be looking over your shoulder forever, and he'd still have gotten away with it. Maya thought about Patricia Brennan, a woman who'd lived in fear for 15 years, who'd kept evidence but never used it, who'd died with her secret. No more secrets. No more fear. How fast can Apple get here? She asked. David looked up from his phone. They want to meet tomorrow. Their headquarters in Cupertino. They're sending security tonight, for you and your daughter. Tonight? Maya. His voice was gentle. James Milford has $300 million and no conscience. You have a phone with evidence that could destroy him. Do you really want to go home tonight? She thought about their apartment. The broken lock. Lily sleeping in the living room. No, she whispered. No, I don't. Apple's security arrived at 8 that night. 2 men in dark suits, professional and polite. They drove Maya and Lily to a hotel near the airport corporate suite, 2 bedrooms, room service menu that made Lily's eyes go wide. Mom, can we really order anything? Maya looked at the security guard, a man named Harrison, who had kind eyes despite his intimidating build. Compliments of Apple, Mom. Order whatever you'd like. Lily chose chicken fingers and fries. Maya couldn't eat. She sat by the window while her daughter watched cartoons, the phone in her lap, thinking about Patricia Brennan, a woman who'd kept this secret for 15 years. Who'd divorced her wealthy husband and lived modestly, quietly, holding on to evidence she never used. Why? If Patricia had proof of insider trading, why not turn it in? Why live in fear? Maya opened her laptop, searched for Patricia Brennan's obituary. It was brief. Patricia Ann Brennan, 58, passed away peacefully at home, survived by daughter Kelly Brennan. Private services. No mention of a former marriage, no mention of Apple or technology. A woman who'd erased her past. Maya found Kelly Brennan on social media, 45, living in Portland, worked as a teacher. Her profile was public photos of her classroom, her students' artwork, a golden retriever named Biscuit. No sign she knew her mother had been sitting on millions. Maya's phone buzzed. David Reeves. How are you holding up? Honestly, I'm terrified. That's normal. Listen, I've been going through Apple's proposed contract. They want exclusive rights to examine the phone, but ownership remains yours. If they decide to acquire it for their museum, they're offering $3 million. Maya's breath caught. $3 million? You said 8 to 10. That was before we knew about the evidence. Apple's lawyers are being conservative. If this goes to court, if Milford's crimes become public, the phone's value drops. It becomes evidence, not a collectible. So, I'm being punished for doing the right thing. Silence. Then, yes, basically. Maya laughed bitterly. Of course. But $3 million is still life-changing money. And Apple's offering protection, legal support, everything you need to stay safe. What about Patricia's daughter, Kelly? She threw this away without knowing what it was. That's generous of you, but legally. I don't care about legally. Her mother lived in fear because of what's on this phone. The least I can do is make sure Kelly knows her mum wasn't paranoid. She was brave. David was quiet. I'll see what I can arrange. After they hung up, Maya noticed Lily had fallen asleep, chicken fingers half eaten. She carried her daughter to bed, kissed her forehead. We're going to be okay, baby, she whispered. I promise. But promises felt fragile tonight. The next morning, They flew to San Francisco. First class, another courtesy of Apple. Lily pressed her face to the window during takeoff, grinning. "Mom, the cars look like toys." Maya tried to smile, tried to feel the excitement her daughter felt. But all she could think about was James Milford, a man who'd threatened her child to protect his secrets. Apple's headquarters in Cupertino looked like something from the future. Massive glass building, circular, gleaming in the California Sunday. Security met them at the entrance, ushered them through corridors that felt more like art galleries than offices. The conference room had floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the campus. Waiting inside were 5 people, 3 lawyers in expensive suits, a woman who introduced herself as Apple's general counsel, and James Milford. Maya stopped dead. He stood by the window, silver-haired, confident, wearing a suit that probably cost more than her car. When he turned, his smile was warm, disarming. "Miss Torres, I'm so glad we could finally meet properly." David stepped in front of Maya. What is he doing here? The general counsel, Jennifer Wu, according to her nameplate, spoke smoothly. "Mr. Milford has been brought in as a consultant. The phone was originally his property, and he has valuable insight into its history. He's been threatening my client." "Those were unfortunate miscommunications," Milford said, his tone reasonable. "Apex Recovery acted without my full knowledge. I've since terminated that relationship and personally apologized to Miss Torres." He looked at Maya directly. His eyes were blue, sincere. Nothing like the desperate man in the parking lot. Maya's instincts screamed, but she couldn't articulate why. "Shall we sit?" Jennifer Wu gestured to the conference table. The next hour was a blur of legal language. Contracts, NDAs, terms of acquisition. Apple wanted the phone for $3 million. They'd handle all legal issues related to the insider trading evidence. Maya would be protected, compensated, and free to move on with her life. It all sounded perfect. Too perfect. "What happens to the evidence?" Maya asked. "The files about the stock trades?" "We'll turn them over to appropriate authorities," Jennifer said. "The SEC, FBI, whoever has jurisdiction." "And Mr. Milford?" Silence. Milford leaned forward, his expression pained. "Miss Torres, I won't lie to you. What's on that phone could destroy my reputation. But I want you to know I've spent 15 years making amends. I built a charitable foundation. I donate millions to education, healthcare, technology access for underserved communities." He pulled out his phone, showed her photos. Children in computer labs, scholarships awarded, medical clinics funded. "I made mistakes when I was younger, terrible mistakes, but I've tried to do better, to be better." His voice cracked slightly. "If this evidence goes public, all of that work becomes tainted. The foundation loses credibility. The people I've helped suffer." Maya felt something shift inside her. This wasn't the monster she'd imagined. This was a man who'd made mistakes and spent years trying to fix them. "You threatened my daughter." "I know, and I will regret that forever. I was desperate, terrified, but that's no excuse." He looked at her with those sincere blue eyes. "I'm asking for mercy, Miss Torres. Not for me, but for the thousands of people my foundation helps." Jennifer Wu slid a document across the table. "Apple is prepared to offer additional compensation. $5 million total. 3 for the phone, 2 as a settlement for the distress caused by the Apex Recovery situation. $5 million. Maya's hands trembled. $5 million would change everything. Lily's education, their home, their future, security forever. And all she had to do was let a man who'd committed crimes walk free. "What about Patricia?" Maya's voice came out hoarse. "Your ex-wife. She kept this evidence for 15 years. She lived in fear because of you." Milford's mask slipped for just a second, Something cold flickered in his eyes. Then it was gone, replaced by that warm sincerity. Patricia had mental health issues. She was paranoid, saw conspiracies everywhere. Our divorce was difficult. She took the phone out of spite, convinced herself I was some kind of criminal mastermind. He sighed. I tried to help her, but she wouldn't accept it. I'm sorry she spent her last years in fear, but that fear wasn't based in reality. The trading records can be explained. I'll cooperate fully with any investigation. I have nothing to hide. He was lying. Maya knew it in her bones, the same way she'd known the man in the parking lot was dangerous. But she couldn't prove it. And $5 million sat in front of her like salvation. David touched her arm. Can we have a moment? Jennifer Wu nodded. Of course. Take your time. They stepped into a hallway. David's face was grave. He's playing you. I know. That story about Patricia having mental health issues, it's textbook. Discredit the witness, make her seem unreliable. I know. So why are you hesitating? Maya looked through the glass at Lily, sitting in a waiting area with Harrison, playing games on his phone, smiling. When was the last time she'd seen her daughter smile like that? Because I'm tired, Maya whispered. I'm so tired of struggling, and $5 million means Lily never has to know what it's like to have cardboard in her shoes. David's expression softened. I understand, but Maya, if you take this deal, you're helping him get away with it. Patricia kept this evidence for a reason. She wanted someone to use it. She had 15 years to use it herself. She didn't. Maybe she was waiting for someone brave enough. The words hit like a slap. Maya thought about Daniel. His last words, stay honest, Maya, that's all we have. She thought about Patricia Brennan, dying with her secret. She thought about James Milford's cold eyes when she'd mentioned Patricia's name. I need to know something first, Maya said. They went back into the conference room. Maya sat down, looked directly at Milford. Did Patricia ever try to turn you in? He blinked. I'm sorry? In 15 years, did your ex-wife ever try to report you, go to the authorities? No, because there was nothing to report. Or because you threatened her, like you threatened me. The room went silent. Milford's smile never wavered. Miss Torres, I think grief and stress are affecting your judgment. I want to talk to Patricia's daughter, Kelly, before I sign anything. Jennifer Wu frowned. That's unusual. I don't care. Kelly threw this phone away. She deserves to know what her mother was protecting, and I want to hear what she has to say about her mother's mental health. Milford stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. I've apologized. I've offered generous compensation. Then you won't mind if I talk to Kelly. His mask cracked. For just a moment, Maya saw the real James Milford, cold, calculating, furious. Fine, he said through clenched teeth. Talk to whoever you want, but this offer expires in 24 hours. He walked out, the lawyers following. Only Jennifer Wu remained. She studied Maya with something like respect. You're either very brave or very foolish. Maybe both, Maya said. I'll have our people contact Kelly Brennan, set up a call. As they left the conference room, David pulled Maya aside. What are you doing? Finding out the truth, the real truth. And if Kelly confirms Milford's story, if Patricia really was paranoid? Maya looked at the phone in her purse, felt its weight. Then I'll know I tried. That night, in their hotel room, Maya couldn't sleep. She pulled out her laptop, searched for more information about Patricia Brennan, and found something she'd missed before. A blog post from 2009. Patricia had written about her divorce, her new life, her fears. The blog was deleted now, but the Internet Archive had saved one entry. Maya read it 3 times, her blood running colder each time. He told me no one would believe me, that I was just a paranoid ex-wife. But I have proof, I have evidence, and someday someone will find it. Someone will make sure he doesn't get away with it. The post was dated December 2008, 1 month after Milford left Apple. Patricia hadn't been paranoid. She'd been terrified. And she'd been right. Kelly Brennan agreed to a video call the next morning. Maya sat in the hotel room, laptop open, hands trembling. Lily was with Harrison getting breakfast downstairs. David and Dr. Vasquez sat nearby, silent witnesses. The screen flickered. Kelly appeared 45, tired eyes, sitting in what looked like a classroom. Behind her, alphabet letters decorated the walls. "Miss Torres, Apple said you wanted to talk about my mother." "I'm sorry for your loss," Maya began. "And I'm sorry for what I'm about to tell you." She explained everything. The phone, the evidence, Milford's offers, his claims about Patricia's mental health. Kelly's face remained neutral until Maya mentioned the paranoia accusation. Then something broke. "My mother wasn't paranoid," Kelly's voice shook. "She was scared. There's a difference." "Can you tell me why?" Kelly looked away, composing herself. When she spoke again, her words came slowly, carefully. "Mom married James Milford in 2004. He was charming, successful, everything she thought she wanted. She worked as his assistant at Apple, handled his scheduling, his correspondence." She paused, wiping her eyes. In 2007, she started noticing things, patterns. He'd get phone calls right before major product announcements, then make huge stock trades. She thought it was just good timing at first. Then she found emails. "On the phone," Maya said. "On that phone." He'd given it to her as a gift, but he didn't know she'd figured out his passcode. She saw everything. Trading instructions, coordination with other executives, offshore accounts. $47 million in illegal profits over 3 years. David leaned forward. Why didn't she report it? Kelly's laugh was bitter. She tried. She went to Apple's compliance office in September 2008. 2 days later, she was fired. "Performance issues," they said. A week after that, someone broke into her apartment. Nothing was stolen, but her files were gone through. Her laptop was taken. "They threatened her," Maya whispered. "They destroyed her." James filed for divorce, claimed she was unstable. He had lawyers, money, connections. She had nothing. The compliance officer who'd taken her report transferred to another division. The emails she'd printed disappeared from her apartment during the break-in. But she kept the phone. She kept the phone, powered it off, hid it in a box of old electronics, moved 3 times in 2 years. She thought, if she just stayed quiet, he'd leave her alone. Kelly's voice cracked. And he did. For 15 years, she lived small, lived scared, worked retail, avoided social media, cut ties with everyone who knew James. She became invisible. But she never deleted the evidence. "No," she told me. "Near the end she had cancer. 6 months to live," she said. "Someday someone will find it. Someone braver than me." Maya felt tears on her cheeks. "She died believing she was a coward," Kelly continued. "That she should have fought harder. I tried to tell her it wasn't her fault, that she'd been up against impossible odds, but she never forgave herself." The room was silent except for the hum of the laptop. "Miss Torres, Apple's lawyers called me yesterday. They offered me $200,000 to tell you my mother had mental health issues, to back up James's story." Maya's stomach dropped. "I told them no. My mother was a lot of things, but she wasn't crazy. And I won't let James Milford rewrite her story to protect himself." "What do you want me to do?" Maya asked. Kelly looked directly at the camera. "Whatever my mother couldn't, use the evidence, make sure he doesn't get away with it, show the world she was telling the truth." After the call ended, Maya sat motionless. David broke the silence. Apple tried to bribe her daughter. "They're protecting Milford," Dr. Vasquez said quietly. "He's still connected, still powerful. This goes deeper than we thought. Maya's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Miss Torres. Final offer, $10 million. Take it and walk away. Last chance. She showed it to David. He swore under his breath. He's panicking, doubling down. $10 million, Maya whispered. Lily would never want for anything. But you'd know, Dr. Vasquez said gently. Every time you looked at your daughter, you'd know you helped a criminal go free. You'd know Patricia Brennan died believing she was a coward because no one validated her courage. Maya thought about Daniel, about his hand in hers, his voice weak but certain. Stay honest, Maya. That's all we have. She thought about Patricia, living in fear for 15 years, dying with regrets. She thought about Lily, who deserved new shoes and college and a future. But more than that, Lily deserved a mother she could be proud of. I need to see the files, Maya said. All of them. Everything Patricia saved. Dr. Vasquez pulled out her laptop. She'd made encrypted copies of the phone's contents, the trading records, the emails, the coordination with other executives. Maya read through them. The evidence was damning. Specific dates, amounts, insider information used to make millions. And not just Milford, 2 other Apple executives were named. Men who still held positions of power in the tech industry. But there was one more file, titled, For Whoever Finds This. Dr. Vasquez opened it. A video file, dated March 2023, 3 months before Patricia died. Maya clicked play. Patricia Brennan appeared on screen, thin, clearly ill, but her eyes were clear, determined. My name is Patricia Ann Brennan. If you're watching this, I'm probably dead. Her voice was steady, matter of fact. In 2008, I discovered that my husband, James Milford, was using his position at Apple to commit securities fraud. I tried to report it. I was threatened, discredited, and forced into silence. She held up the phone to the camera. This phone contains evidence of his crimes. Emails, trading records, coordination with other executives. I've kept it hidden for 15 years because I was afraid. Afraid of what he'd do. Afraid no one would believe me. Afraid I'd lose everything. Patricia's composure cracked slightly. I was a coward. I should have fought harder, but I'm not expecting forgiveness. I'm just asking that whoever finds this, please, don't let him win. Don't let him rewrite history to make me the crazy ex-wife. She leaned closer to the camera. James Milford is not a philanthropist trying to make amends. His foundation is image management. He's not sorry for what he did. He's sorry he might get caught. And if he's threatening you, bribing you, using his lawyers and his money to make this go away, Patricia's voice hardened. Then you know I was telling the truth. Fight him, for every woman who was called crazy when she told the truth, for every victim who was silenced, for me. The video ended. Maya sat staring at the blank screen, tears streaming down her face. David spoke softly. She made this for you. She knew someone would find the phone eventually. She was hoping for someone who'd do what she couldn't. She wasn't a coward, Maya whispered. She survived. For 15 years she survived. And now you get to finish what she started, Dr. Vasquez said. Maya wiped her eyes, picked up her phone, looked at the text offering $10 million. She thought about everything she could buy, everything Lily could have. Then she thought about Lily growing up, becoming a woman in a world where powerful men got away with destroying women who told the truth. She thought about what kind of mother she wanted to be. What kind of person? Maya deleted the text. She called the one person she trusted completely. Detective Kim, it's Maya Torres. I need to report a crime. Multiple crimes, actually, and I have evidence. David smiled. You're sure? I'm sure. Maya looked at Patricia's frozen image on the screen. Someone has to be brave enough. Might as well be me. Dr. Vasquez reached across and squeezed her hand. Patricia would be proud. I hope so, Maya said, because I'm about to burn down a very powerful man's life, and I have a feeling he's not going to go quietly. Outside the hotel window, the California sun was setting, painting the sky orange and gold. Maya watched it, the phone in her lap, Patricia's courage flowing through the device like electricity. Tomorrow, she'd contact the FBI, the SEC, every authority that could prosecute James Milford for his crimes. Tonight, she'd hold her daughter and explain why sometimes doing the right thing meant walking away from $10 million. She hoped Lily would understand. She hoped Daniel would be proud. She hoped Patricia Brennan, wherever she was, finally felt vindicated. The phone buzzed one more time. James Milford's number. She let it ring. And ring. And ring. The FBI arrived within hours. 2 agents from their white-collar crime division, professional and thorough. Maya handed over the phone, signed statements, walked them through everything Patricia had saved. Detective Kim stayed with her through it all, a steady presence. "You're doing the right thing," Kim said quietly while they waited. Then, "Why does it feel so hard?" "Because the right thing usually is." The investigation moved quickly. The evidence was too detailed, too specific to ignore. Trading records matched SEC filings. Emails contained instructions that left no room for interpretation. Patricia's video provided context that made denial impossible. 3 weeks later, federal prosecutors announced indictments. James Milford, securities fraud, insider trading, conspiracy, facing up to 20 years. 2 other former Apple executives, similar charges. And Apple itself faced investigations into how their compliance department had handled Patricia's 2008 report. The news broke like a storm. Maya watched from the safety of Marcus Chen's guest room, where she and Lily had been staying. Her apartment had been broken into twice after she'd gone to the FBI. Nothing taken, but the message was clear. Marcus had insisted they stay with him. "I've got space, and better locks." The media wanted interviews. Publishers wanted book deals. Documentary filmmakers called offering 6 figures. Maya refused them all. "This isn't my story," she told David. "It's Patricia's." Instead, she worked with Kelly Brennan to establish something real, the Patricia Brennan Foundation for Whistleblower Support. Legal aid, protection services, counseling for people who faced retaliation for reporting corporate crimes. Apple, desperate for damage control, donated $3 million as a settlement. Maya didn't touch it. Every penny went to the foundation. "Mom," Lily looked up from her homework one evening. "Emma at school said her dad said, 'You're famous.'" "Not famous, baby. Just visible." "What's the difference?" Maya thought about it. Famous means people know your name. Visible means people see what you did. There's a difference. Lily considered this. "I like that you're visible." "Yeah?" "Yeah, you showed everyone that doing the right thing matters." Maya pulled her daughter close, breathing in her strawberry shampoo smell. "You know we could have had a lot of money, right? If I'd made different choices." "I know. Does that bother you?" Lily was quiet for a moment. "Would we have been happy?" Maya thought about Patricia Brennan, living in fear for 15 years, about James Milford, charming and hollow, building a life on lies. "No," she said honestly. "I don't think we would have been." "Then I'm glad you chose this." The trial lasted 3 months. Maya testified for 2 days, walking the jury through how she'd found the phone, what she'd discovered, the threats and bribes she'd received. Kelly Brennan testified about her mother's fear, her death, her regrets. Patricia's video played in the courtroom. People wept. James Milford sat stone-faced throughout, his expensive lawyers flanking him like guards. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. 18 years in federal prison. Maya wasn't in the courtroom when the verdict was read. She was at work, restocking shelves at the grocery store where she still worked part-time. Tom found her in aisle 7. Torres, it's on TV. They watched together on the break room television, Milford being led out in handcuffs, his face finally showing something real fear. You did that, Tom said quietly. Patricia did that. I just finished it. 6 months after the verdict, Maya stood in a cemetery in Portland. Patricia Brennan's grave was simple, just her name, her dates, beloved mother. Maya laid flowers, white roses, Patricia's favourite, according to Kelly. I hope you can rest now, Maya whispered. I hope you know you weren't a coward. You were brave enough to survive, and smart enough to leave evidence for someone who could finish what you started. A breeze rustled through the trees. Thank you for being that brave, for leaving the phone where someone would find it, for trusting that someday someone would do the right thing. Kelly appeared beside her, carrying her own flowers. She'd be proud of you, Kelly said. I hope so. I know so. You gave her something she never had: vindication. The world knows she was telling the truth. That's everything. They stood together in silence, two women connected by a phone that had bridged 15 years of silence. That night, back in their new apartment, small but safe, with proper locks and a landlord who fixed things, Maya tucked Lily into bed. Mom, do you ever wish you'd taken the money? Maya thought about it honestly. Sometimes, when the car breaks down, when I'm counting pennies for groceries. But then I remember how it felt when I deleted that text, when I called Detective Kim. When I chose truth over money. How did it feel? Like I could breathe again. Like I was the person your dad always believed I was. Lily smiled. I think he'd be proud. I think so too. After Lily fell asleep, Maya sat on their small couch, the same one from their old apartment. So much had changed. So much had stayed the same. She pulled out her phone, a new one, nothing special, and opened her photos. One picture she'd saved, the old iPhone, that first-generation prototype that had changed everything. It sat now in the FBI's evidence vault, its secrets finally revealed. But Maya didn't need it anymore. She'd found something more valuable than what it was worth. She'd found proof that one person's courage, even delayed, even imperfect, could change the world. That truth was worth fighting for. That integrity wasn't just about what you refused to lose, it was about what you chose to become. Outside their window, the city lights flickered like stars. Maya thought about Patricia, finally at peace. About Lily, growing up in a world where her mother had chosen right over easy. About Daniel, who taught her that honesty was all they had. He'd been right. It was enough. It was everything. 2 years later, Maya stood outside the Patricia Brennan Foundation's new office, a small storefront in downtown Portland, windows bright with purpose. Inside, 3 full-time staff members helped whistleblowers navigate the impossible: legal battles, media pressure, threats from powerful people who didn't want the truth told. The foundation had helped 47 people so far, protected them, believed them, given them what Patricia never had: someone on their side. Kelly Brennan ran the foundation now. She'd left teaching to honor her mother full-time. We got another call today, Kelly said, meeting Maya at the door. Woman in Seattle found evidence of environmental violations at her company. She's terrified. What did you tell her? That she doesn't have to be brave alone. Maya smiled. Good answer. Inside, a wall displayed photos. Patricia's story anchored the center, her picture, her video testimony, the headline, Whistleblower Vindicated after 15 years. Below it, one person's courage can change everything. Maya's phone buzzed. Lily, texting from school, Mom, got an A on my history project. About women who told the truth when no one believed them. I wrote about Patricia. Teacher says it's the best one she's ever read. Maya's eyes burned. She typed back, Your dad would be so proud of you. I know I am. That evening, Maya drove to the grocery store for her shift. The same store, the same job, the same routine. But she didn't mind anymore. Tom met her at the employee entrance. Torres, package came for you. Inside was a letter from the Smithsonian. They wanted to create an exhibit about Patricia's story, about courage delayed but not denied, about one phone that bridged 15 years of silence. They wanted to display the iPhone itself. Maya thought about that night in the rain, kneeling by a dumpster, hands bleeding, desperate for $20. She'd found something worth millions. But what she'd really found was proof that some things matter more than money. Truth matters. Justice matters. Courage, even the terrified kind, matters most of all. She pulled out her phone, texted Kelly. Smithsonian wants the phone for an exhibit. Patricia's story. Should we say yes? The response came immediately. Mom would want her story told. So yes. Maya looked at the employee break room, the time clock, her name tag that said simply Maya T. She could have had $10 million. Instead, she had something Patricia Brennan never got: peace. The knowledge that when tested, she'd chosen right over easy. That her daughter would grow up knowing integrity isn't just what you say, it's what you do when no one's watching. Outside, rain started to fall. Maya thought about that night, that dumpster, that moment when everything changed. If she could go back, would she do it differently? Would she walk past that phone? Take Milford's money? Choose the easier path? She smiled. Not in a million years. Some treasures you find in the strangest places. And sometimes, the most valuable thing you can discover isn't what something's worth. It's who you become when you refuse to sell your soul. Maya Torres found a phone worth millions, but what she really found was herself. And that's worth more than all the money in the world. What would you have done? Would you have taken the money or chosen the truth? Sometimes, the hardest choices define who we really are.